Hello.
Yes?
Remember me?
Yes.
I'm your son.
I know.
Are you going to ask me in?
No.
I'm Matthew.
I know you're Matthew. I was at the christening.
Are you surprised to see me?
No, I've been expecting it.
How could you have been expecting it? It's been 7 years.
I know. You're not going to make a habit of this, are you?
I thought you'd be pleased to see me.
Well, life's full of disappointments. Now, do you mind moving your foot out the door? There's something I want to catch on the television.
But, Dad...
Don't call me that. You made your choice.
That was 7 years ago. It was only... What am I supposed to call you?
And what about Mr. Willows?
That was 7 years ago, Mr. Willows. I was only 10. Look, do you mind if I come in? It's cold out here.
No, I'm not responsible for the weather.
I've got something to tell you.
Well, tell me.
I'm frozen.
Is that it?
No.
That's the trouble with the younger generation. They're soft. When I was your age, I was doing an evening newspaper round in this sort of weather. And I didn't have a top coat. My mother had to thaw me off the bike. All right, you can come in for 5 minutes. But don't settle anywhere.
Just as I remember it.
Is it?
We often talk about the old days.
Who's we?
Frank, Julie and me.
They're not coming as well, are they? Good. For a moment, I thought you might be the advance party. You see, things have changed, Matthew.
Look, they call me Matt these days.
Who do?
My friends.
Well, that lets me out. No, don't sit down. You'll only stiffen up. See, things have changed, Matthew. When you all went, I had to start again. Pick up the pieces. Make a new life for myself.
A new life? But everything's the same. Same house, same furniture, same carpet, and you haven't changed much either, so what's new?
You are, for a start. Of course things haven't changed. Don't think I wouldn't have liked to have moved. Bought some new furniture, had a holiday, but I couldn't. And do you know why? Because for the last 7 years, you three have been into my ribs for 30 quid a week. Well, haven't I paid enough, or have you come back to pick the bones clean?
It's not a question of money. Have you ever asked yourself if we're happy?
No, I've never asked myself that question. Why should I? Did anyone ask if I was happy? You couldn't get out of here quick enough. I left the Titanic with more dignity than you left this house. I was almost killed in the rush. Well, if you've had regrets, just remember, it was your choice.
I was only 10.
It's got nothing to do with it. When we were in front of that judge in chambers, and he asked you whether you wanted to go with your mummy and the new gentleman or stay with me, you could have answered in a civilised manner. Didn't have to kick me on the shins.
I know. I've always regretted that.
How could you prefer that creep to me?
Well, he kept giving me sweets.
Sweets? So that was it. You were easily bought, weren't you?
I didn't mean it.
Well, the judge thought you meant it. What did he call me? A strict disciplinarian lacking in warmth and understanding whose children were afraid of him. It was in all the papers. All the neighbours talking about me in whispers.
I don't suppose they even knew.
They knew. Day it happened, 3 of them came round to borrow me garden shears. Well, I've just about lived it down. I've managed to become a respected member of the community again. They even want me to stand for the council. And now you have to turn up. And what's happened?
I've had a row with my stepfather.
Don't tell me he's run out of sweets. And how is Loverboy these days?
He's losing his hair.
Is he? I'm not surprised. He was always putting a comb through it. Probably worn it out.
He's moan, moan, moan all the time. Always telling me what to do.
Is he? Coming the heavy parent, is he? Well, I could have told you. He hasn't got my easygoing nature. Who said you could smoke?
I've been smoking for ages. I'm almost 18. I am old enough.
You tell your lungs you're old enough. There's no smoking in this house.
Then what are the ashtrays for?
What do you want to do? Stub it out on the carpet? He's moan, 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 is he?
He's got no give and take.
I don't know about the give. Certainly got plenty of take. Took your mother.
I think she regrets it. He's always finding fault. He won't leave me alone. I got pissed off with it. Couldn't take any more, so I packed a bag and left.
Just a minute. What did you say?
I packed a bag and left.
No, before that.
He's always finding fault.
After that?
He won't leave me alone?
No. After he wouldn't leave you alone and before you packed your bag.
I don't remember.
Yes, you do, you little tyke. Don't use that sort of language, not while you're in this house.
You mean I can stay?
No, you can't. I'm going to do something I haven't done in 7 years. I'm going to speak to your mother, and I'm going to plead with her to take you back. You can sit down while I'm on the phone, but don't get comfortable. Well, that was brief and to the point.
I'm not going back no matter what she says.
Well, that's all right then, because she doesn't want you.
What?
Apparently, she's in the middle of a nervous breakdown, and you're the cause of it. And that's not all. She said you threatened your stepfather with a carving knife.
I didn't threaten him with a carving knife. I was cutting some bread and I made a sort of angry gesture.
That excuse would carry more weight if you hadn't have shouted, "One more step and you're done for."
It just happened to be my hand, that's all.
Your mother says you also threatened him with a sweeping brush, a pair of lawn edges, and a shovel. Did they just happen to be in your hand?
Yeah.
You seem to be making yourself very useful around there. I always remember you as bone idle.
Well, he's bigger than I am.
And you think that's a good enough reason to hear, little thug? Listen. That man stole everything from me. My wife, my family, my happiness. Did I threaten him with a carving knife?
No. You pushed him through a plate glass window.
There was a scuffle in Woolworth, resulting in the accident you described. But I'm not a violent man.
I think I made a mistake coming here.
No, your mistake was leaving there. Not only were they glad to see the back of you, they're changing the locks.
Look, Dad.
I said don't call me that.
You're right, it's a label. It gets in the way of our relationship.
What relationship? We haven't got a relationship.
My friends all call their fathers by their first names. They say it gets over the age gap, helps them to become friends.
Yeah, really? Well, I don't want to get over the age gap. And I don't want us to become friends.
You mean you want me to leave?
Congratulations. Sinking in at last. Wait a minute, have you been at this scotch?
No.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Listen, Toad. I live alone. I have regular habits. I drink moderately. And I know exactly how much whiskey should be in that decanter on any day of the week, and that level has fallen.
Perhaps it's evaporated.
And this glass has been used. Let me smell your breath. Not too close. You did have a drink.
I was cold.
It's amazing. I haven't seen you in 7 years, and one night, without warning, you come home to Roost like a bedraggled pigeon. As if that's not bad enough, I then discover that you drink, curse, and smoke. You take things that don't belong to you, you're a stranger to the truth, and you're handy with a bread knife. And all that in the first 10 minutes. Have you any idea what a weekend would be like? I must say, you certainly know how to warm my father's heart.
Well, at least you admit you're my father.
Yes, but you'll observe there aren't any witnesses. If anyone asks, we've just met. I won't be related to a yobbo.
If I'm a yobbo, whose fault's that? Perhaps I take after you.
You don't take after me. You don't even look like me. Now I have to face the fact. It was either some dreadful mistake in the maternity ward or you take after your mother's side. They were always a crafty, conniving bunch. And talking of crafty and conniving, how are your granny and granddad these days? Have you seen them lately?
We went for Christmas.
Christmas? They still keep an empty chair at the table for me?
No.
No, they wouldn't. They were glad to see the back of me.
I wonder why.
Doesn't worry me. I never liked Christmas there. But they still make all that fuss over the bird.
Yeah, we had a £20 turkey this year.
Oh, you're lucky.
What did you have?
Flu.
Flu?
Yeah, I was in bed all over Christmas. Didn't see a soul.
Oh, I wish I'd known.
I don't.
Did you get my card?
No. Did you send one?
Of course I sent one. Must have got lost in the post.
I wish you had. You didn't send a card. You didn't give me a second thought. You wouldn't have cared if I'd lived or died. Now, if you don't mind, I've got things to do.
What things? Watching television and talking to yourself?
I do not talk to myself. I happen to prefer my own company. There's no need to make a big exit. Just leave.
But I've got nowhere to go.
Try Granny and Grandad. They may still have some of that turkey left.
They don't want me. No one wants me.
I wonder why.
Don't you feel any responsibility?
No,
I hope you won't regret this.
I won't.
Right. Where's the A1?
Just down the road. Where will you be in case your mother rings?
I don't know. I'm desperate. Probably take a car and drive into London.
Take a car? I didn't know you could drive.
I can't. I shall probably get arrested, but that won't worry you.
No. I don't think you'll find it very easy taking a car at this time of night.
I can start them on the ignition.
Who taught you that? Those friends who call their fathers by their first names?
Don't you care? Can't you see that I'm mixed up, that I don't know what I'm doing?
You know what you're doing. It's what's called emotional blackmail. You're trying to make me feel guilty. Well, it won't work. It's your life, Sonny Jim. Go on, take a car. See if I care.
Right. And if you read about me in the papers, don't blame yourself.
I won't.
Good night, Mr. Willows.
Good night. Just like his mother. He's always got to dramatise on it. Take a car. Yeah, just see him taking a car. Bluff. Go on, take a car, see if I can. Go on, take a car, see if I can. Wait a minute! I didn't say mine!
Good morning, Mr. Willows.
Is it?
My word, and who's a sourpuss this morning? Is it because we've bumped our car?
We haven't bumped our car, Mrs. Thompson, and it isn't our car. It's mine.
We can still say good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Thompson.
Please. How many times do I have to ask you?
I keep forgetting. Good morning, Enid.
That's better, Mr. Formal. Why do you find that name so difficult to say? Is it because I won't call you Henry?
No, I don't want you to call me Henry.
I can't call you Henry.
Good.
Which, incidentally, is a name I adore. But after all, you are my employer.
In that case, do you think you could make a start on the porch?
If I started calling you Henry, what would people say?
Not a lot.
So should we drop the subject?
Of course. I'm sorry I mentioned it.
After all, you are a man of considerable physical appeal, and I'm not exactly unattractive.
Not exactly, no.
Just because we live alone, it doesn't mean we don't have needs. We all have needs. Don't you have needs, Mr. Willows?
Well, yes.
What are they?
At the moment, I need the porch doing, and then...
I can see we're in a mood this morning. We're pouting. Did we get out of bed the wrong side?
Don't ask me. I didn't even know we'd slept together.
Mr. Willows! Smart! Now, this isn't like you at all. You certainly can't go to work in this state. Do you know what I'm going to do?
The housework?
I'm going to whisk through the bathroom and I'm going to run you a hot tub. You look dreadful.
Snap. Something wrong, Enid?
There's a man in the bathroom.
Yes?
Stark naked.
Oh,
I'm afraid I dropped the bleach.
that's all right.
Who is he?
He's my son.
Your son? But He's a man.
No, he's only a boy.
Mr. Willows, I've seen him. He's not a boy. Why didn't you mention him before?
I was trying to keep it quiet.
Yes. He doesn't look like you.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. I think he takes after his mother.
Not entirely, Mr. Willows. Strange you didn't mention he was coming.
It was unexpected. Well, I better be going.
You're not leaving me here alone with him, a complete stranger.
Well, he's hardly a stranger to you, Enid. You've seen more of him than I have. And he is my son.
Is he?
Don't you believe me? Oh, Matthew, come here. Ah, Matthew.
Good morning, Mr. Willows. Breakfast ready?
Words just vanished in the haze. I was feeling cold and tired. Yeah.
Are you still here?
Well, you didn't want me to leave without saying goodbye.
Well, I was hoping to avoid that, actually. I was afraid I might be overcome with emotion.
I wish you meant that.
I do. The estimate for the car was £200. Wait a minute, this scotch.
He hasn't evaporated again.
No, it's gone up. What have you been doing?
Well, I've been thinking about last night, and I was wrong. I shouldn't have taken your scotch. Not without asking, so I replaced it. That surprises you, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, it does, as a matter of fact.
I didn't want you to think I'm a scrounger. I didn't want to be under any obligation. I've got my pride.
Don't get carried away. It hasn't gone up that much.
That was all I could afford.
Yes, well, at least you realised it was wrong, but you didn't have to do this. Wait a minute, it's not very strong.
I think it's a more subtle blend.
Subtle blend. You put water in it.
Well, I couldn't afford anything else.
You've been drinking my scotch and adding water.
Well, look on the bright side. Whilst I'm here, you'll never become an alcoholic.
You're not going to be here. You're leaving.
But why?
Why? You take my chair, you drink my scotch, you bump my car, be registered, and you ask why?
Well, don't you think these are just teething troubles?
No, I don't. And if you want another reason, you're a social embarrassment, and this is a respectable neighbourhood. How long before they start coming round to borrow the garden shears again?
Well, if you feel like that, I'll pack my bag.
Good. I don't want to find you here when I get back, and don't drink any more of my scotch.
Now I know what it feels like to be an orphan.
You're breaking my heart.
Where am I going to go?
Try Bernardo's. I told you to go.
Just cutting some sandwiches for the road, that's all.
Well, don't be long about it.
Are you going to turn me out on a night like this? A kid of 16?
Almost 18. It's amazing how your age varies with your needs, isn't it?
Just hope I won't be on your conscience, that's all.
Don't worry, you won't be.
Can't you see I'm going through a bad patch?
Yes, I can see that, but there's no need for both of us to go through it, is there?
They wanted me to see a doctor.
I'd take their advice if I were you.
If I turn out badly...
If? What do you mean, if? There's some corned beef in the fridge.
I can manage.
Where will you sleep?
Probably in a barn. Or a hedge or a dry ditch. Somewhere out of the wind. Why should you worry? Don't suppose it would worry you if I died of exposure?
Look, I'm too old to be a parent. Can't you see that? I mean, one day you want me to get down on the carpet and wrestle with you. And I'm past that sort of thing.
You never got down on the carpet and wrestled with me. You always said you had a bone in your leg.
I was always worn out. You don't know what it's like trying to bring up a family on the money I was getting. I had to do a lot of overtime. I was just worn out. Do you need money?
That's your answer to everything. Money. You think you can pay me off, don't you?
Oh, if you don't want it.
Oh, I didn't say that. I'll need something till I get a job.
I thought you were doing A-levels.
I'll have to forget A-levels. You can't study for A-levels in a ditch. You need a desk for A-levels and books.
Well, you won't get a decent job without qualifications.
I'm not going back to that school. I hated it. And the teachers. Well, that's why I never did any good there.
You don't get on with anybody, do you? The whole world's against you. Why don't you stop making excuses? You've always been bone idle. You didn't walk till you were 2. You had to carry you everywhere. There were 12-month-old babies running rings round you in that clinic. And all you could do was crawl after them on your stomach, gurgling.
Gurgling?
You couldn't talk that well either.
You've never been very proud of me, have you?
There's not been that much to be proud of. All I'm saying is it's no use blaming the system. You should have worked harder.
It's not my fault. The teachers kept telling us we were the first generation born into a world of leisure. We didn't know they meant unemployment.
I'm not responsible for the economy.
You're not responsible for anything, are you? And I felt sorry for you. I don't know why. No wonder Mother walked out.
What do you mean?
You always were a miserable sod. Leave me alone.
Give me that.
Stop pushing me around. Everyone does that. I'm sorry. It's just I'm fed up with being told what to do. You're just like him.
You'd better go to your room.
You mean I can stay?
Temporarily. So don't start putting any posters up. You can stay till your mother changes her mind.
Thanks. I'll take my things back up. Ah! What was that
That was for the bread knife.
for? That hurt.
I used to be a footballer. You're lucky it wasn't the left foot.
That's bullying.
Yes.
You're older than I am.
I know. I thought I'd better make the most of it. Never mind, you get your own back. You can put me in a home when I'm old. Until that happy day comes, just remember, you may have broken your mother's heart, but you won't break mine. My name is Willows. I bend easily, but I don't break.
I know you're bending that much at the moment.
Well, you better make your mind up. If you stay, that's how it's going to be.
Right. But don't forget I'm a Willows too.
Don't remind me.
They wanted me to change my name by Deepfall, but I wouldn't. I said once a Willows, always a Willows. I said I was born a Willows and I'd die a Willows. I said Willows is my father's name.
Matthew, stop creeping.
I just wanted to say that while I'm here, don't worry about the money. After all, this makes us a one-parent family. We could get an allowance.
Shut up.
What if anyone asks who I am?
Well, we don't want any more misunderstandings. You better tell them the truth. Only try and keep out of sight.
You mean tell them I'm your son?
Well, I don't want them to think I've chosen you as a friend.
That's all right then.
Why?
Only someone came round this afternoon to borrow the garden shears.
What? Oh, no.
Something wrong?
No. Excuse me.